Two hits from the content.
Oh, yes. 2 hits from the content.
Well, actually, because content sounds like continent.
Yeah.
Okay, Corey.
Okay. Come
So, Bozoma, let's just
That's
get
a
right
word.
into
Yes.
the Full Circle Festival.
Yes,
Because
right away.
Bozoma Saint John is back, you guys. Welcome
Back on
back.
Yes, Girl.
One of our all-time favorite episodes on the
Thank
show.
you.
You came before
That
and
is
gave
so
us
nice.
a word.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
You
But-
changed us.
But Charlie,
Oh.
seriously, stop. I need to know how you got Boris and Idris
Right.
inGhana. That's all. You know I love you.
Step one,
But I
step
need
one.
to get like right.
Let's get right to it.
Yeah,
get
right
right
to
to
it.
it.
Okay, well, what happened was, see, Boris and I are friends. We've been friends. And his father is Ghanaian.
Yes.
And so he had memories of his childhood in Ghana, trips to visit family, etc. But he hadn't really spent a lot of time there as an adult. And I have. And so when we met and realized that, there were obviously some commonalities, ways in which we could really have a good time together with our families in Ghana, we just made up our minds to go and hang out. I was already going to go for Christmas and New Year's. That was December of 2017. I'd actually met the president of Ghana in November of that year. I received an award with the African American Institute. And the president, thank you. And the president of Ghana was also receiving an award in that same ceremony on behalf of the people of Ghana. And so while accepting my award, I spoke in our native tongue, to much applause. Thank you very much.
I love it.
And he was enamored and said we should meet up when I came to Ghana next. And I was like, in fact, I'll be there next month.
See you soon.
With my friends. Right.
And friends plural.
Yes,
Tell the
friends.
people how many
Friends.
people you
Friends.
brought.
On this epic trip.
Ooh, so let's see. Fast forward a full year later with lots of just word of mouth, just telling people.
Yeah.
I did step out on faith and reserved about 40 rooms or so at my favorite hotel in Ghana.
Not one for us.
That's okay.
You know what?
Next trip.
Next trip.
Next trip.
Next trip. Go ahead.
Okay,
Continue.
y'all continue, and there won't be a room for you. Okay, I don't want to get so threatening on this lovely, wonderful sisterhood.
podcast. Continue.
But okay, any case, but it was really a faithful jump.
Yeah.
And we started telling people, and you know what? I don't know if I fully thought that everybody would show up, right? Because you get a lot of people who are like, yeah, girl, I'm gonna come. Yeah, I'm there. What? My room? Yes. In fact, give me 3. And then you're like, the trip comes and people are like, oh, so, so that work thing that I have to do, people drop out of things all of the time. Yeah. And I just felt like, for all of the inconsistencies about the narrative of Africa, that anybody would find any excuse. Right? Yeah. I don't know. Ebola's still running around. I can't find my visa.
Zika virus.
I don't know why. Something would be up and popping.
Meanwhile,
but 104 people
104
showed up. Showed up.
You guys flooded the internet with images.
Correct.
It was fantastic.
In the way I would say, we peppered them. Hot pepper. Yes. All over the internet.
And now with it being the year of the return, tell us a little bit more what that's about, because it's really just about everybody coming home.
Yes,
right?
That's right. So again, the president of Ghana was the one who initiated. He went to the United Nations, proposed essentially a decree that 2019 would be the year of return, marking 400 years of the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. It's a little known date, which of course is terrible. So we should all know this date, which is August 20th, 1619 was the first date that a captured African was recorded in Jamestown, Virginia. And I am specific in saying a captured African, not a slave.
Yes.
Because these were people.
Yeah.
Mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and doctors and nurses and politicians and chiefs and cooks and seamstresses. These were people who were living their full lives who were captured. And that first person was legally recorded on August 20th, 1619. And recorded in Jamestown, Virginia. Now, what is really interesting is that there's actually a Jamestown in Ghana, too. And so we are orchestrating a Jamestown to Jamestown return.
Oh, that's powerful.
Wow.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we're going to be there for that. That's enough time for us to get our lives together. We have
get yourself together.
And speaking of powerful, Boz, what we love about you is everything that you do has so much impact. You came before and talked about living fearless, being fearlessly, and really, I think, inspired so many of us to go and just go for it. And what we wear to work, how we act at work, the jobs we go for.
Okay, tell 'em.
You know what I mean? And you look at all that you've done since you came to visit us. It's been so exciting. So I need to know, like, how does one wake up and live a completely fearless life? Because you don't just do it in the workplace.
No, and you know what? I don't know that it's just innate. It's practiced. It is practiced. You know, and that I do have to talk to myself.
Yeah.
While that sounds crazy, and while the affirmations may seem maybe pithy or cliche, I strongly believe in self-affirmation.
Hype yourself.
Oh, absolutely. There is not a morning, okay, that I don't look at myself, regardless of how I feel, by the way, and tell myself how amazing I am in the mirror before I walk out that door.
I love it.
Even today, this Casual Wednesday.
This is casual.
It's casual Wednesday, okay?
Fantastic.
And I looked at myself and I was like, God damn, you're good. You know what I'm saying? Oh. Even in beige, girl, you still rock it.
Give it to the people.
You giving us diamonds,
pearls, nails,
nails,
honey, queens,
all of it,
ear drops,
everything. Okay, but it is practiced. You know, we walk out into the world, especially as Black women, and there's enough subconscious, sometimes unconscious, unconscious,
all of the above.
Detrimental messages that we receive that tell us that we're not great, that we're not pretty, that we're not fierce, that we're not.
Exactly.
And so for me, the self-affirmation, which is required in my life, that way I can walk into rooms boldly and feel like my ideas are worthy. You know, even prepping for a meeting before I go in, you know, of course, doing my walk around to make sure I have my fans around to come into the meeting with me, you know. And by fans, that's not casual. But by the way, that's not casual either. You know, that's essentially going to people that you know are going to have a word about what you're about to say and making sure that you understand what that thing is before you get in there, either convincing them of your point of view or of understanding what the disagreement is going to be so you have your argument ready.
Yeah.
And then walking into the room knowing that I am best prepared for that meeting is absolutely practice. It's not accidental at all. And it's not something that I take for granted or pretend is just by way of nature.
Yeah.
You know, some of it is nurture and practice.
You know what? On the March issue, you closed out our issue.
With a word.
With a word.
Ooh.
With a word.
It's phenomenal.
And reading it, I was telling Charlie this. What I love the most is when you said, and I know it came at a sad time, but when your husband passed away, you learned to live urgently.
Yes,
there's something about that. You were like, I have to live urgently.
Yes.
Talk to us about
Please.
that.
Yeah.
But then also, did that lead you now, because pretty soon we're going to see you in front of the camera.
Yes.
With your own TV show.
Yes. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, living urgently definitely came out of that moment. You know, the really impetus for it was that my husband was diagnosed with cancer in May of 2013, and by December he was dead, which was only 6 months. I mean, it was absolutely shocking and devastating. The words that I would use to describe it are probably not sufficient for the impact on our lives. My daughter was 4. You know, I was at the height of my career, or felt like the height of my career at the time.
Yeah.
And it just felt like everything was going great, you know, and then here comes this horrible disease that decides to just rip our lives apart. And I realized in that time that we really don't know how long we have, you know? And again, while that might sound pithy and cliche, because we all say that, right? Carpe diem, you know, live for today, live our full lives. Like, you know, we say these things, but we don't act these things. You know, it's like we do make the 5-year plans to say, in 5 years, I'm going to. Why? Why do you do that?
And you also talk about that. You basically threw your plan out of the window.
I threw it all the way out the window. Because the thing is, it makes us lazy, makes us complacent. And so you start thinking, I have time for that. No, you don't. You don't, actually.
None.
And by the way, why not do it right now? That way you have more time to do other things. You have time to do more.
Absolutely.
You know, it's kind of like when you clean your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you have a whole house to clean and you start out in the kitchen and you do a little bit here and you sit down, have a little snack. You do a little more, you call your girlfriend.
Guilty.
You know what I'm saying? Like you reached the end of the day and all you did was clean the kitchen.
And you never
That's
get
all
there.
you did.
But like if you concentrate, clean that kitchen urgently, you could probably then get to the bedroom and get to the bathroom and, maybe attempt your closet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you just feel so much more accomplished. So for me, I'd rather have the full tidy house as compared to my neighbor who only got through the kitchen. Like, I'm going to have a complete house by the time I'm done with this life.
And I think there's something really, I know, can we?
Oh my God.
Where's the gems? Ding, 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 gem. But also, what's really speaking to my heart right now, which you so often do, is this idea of turning a tragedy into trajectory. Because...
Come on, Charlie Pants.
Okay.
Some T words.
We and I have each other so much. I love you too.
Okay, right.
But that's what, you know what I mean? Like, we usually lay down and just have to, like, really lick our wounds or cuddle up with ourselves and try to heal.
Yeah.
Or you can just take off from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really, and that is so hard.
Yeah.
But it's so important.
It truly is. It truly is. Now, I'm not at all going to pretend like there aren't days and times when you need to lay down.
Yeah.
Because that's part of also our self-care.
Yeah.
Especially for Black women, we take on so much, and then the world expects us to be so strong. Our families expect us to be strong. Our work expects us to be strong. And so then we pretend as if the hurt isn't there. Yeah. I don't want to pretend as if the hurt isn't there. Yeah. The hurt is there. And so we should take care of that and nurture it and be attentive to it, honor it. But it doesn't have to defeat us.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay down. And so for me, again, sometimes these things, they sound like words on a T-shirt. But it's true that we have to put them into practice. And so some days I do feel defeated. Like in December was 5 years since my husband has passed away. And it was a very heavy anniversary for me because I feel like every year comes and I think, oh my gosh, if he was still alive, we would have done and we could have done and and grief has a way of making you do that all the time. The things that you would have done or could have done, or by this point we would have been. It makes you regretful of life. And I felt it so heavily that, wow, 5 years have passed. My daughter has lived half her life already without her father. My God, how did we get here? Right. Like the things that I have done in my own career have eclipsed anything that I could have dreamt of even then, 5 years ago. And I'm tired of carrying that heavy cloak of widowhood. I'm tired. And I had to recognize that. Even in the midst of all of the celebration of life and people high-fiving me for the show and, ooh, your brand new shiny job and, ooh, Instagram, what's she wearing today? And what event is she going to now? And look, she's hanging out with Anthony Anderson. Like all these
that
things.
Is exactly
right?
how we react to your life.
Yes. But I had to recognize and realize that what I have been carrying is now too heavy for my life. And then I have to lay it down.
A cloak, that visual.
I took it off. I was like, take it off.
And you've impacted a lot of women, and I know that now. When I know they're in your DMs, I know you see them and they want to hug you, and I know you get a lot of testimonies. Am I right?
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
How does that feel, and what do you tell them?
I'm always surprised by it. I have to be honest. I'm always surprised because I feel like this is my story and my experiences and. I don't know. I think it's shocking to me that it touches other people or that anybody else feels this way. Yeah. I guess maybe you could look at it and say, well, duh, we are all human and we all feel certain things, similar things. We have empathy. Yeah. But I am surprised, when women or men come up to me and share whatever experience they're having. Sometimes we cry together.
That's important.
It's a real thing. Because listen, I'll cry on cue, man. Like I'll be ready. Okay, I'm like, don't tell me a story. I'll be in tears. Eyelash will fall off. The whole thing. So it's really, but it's a blessing. What a blessing that we're able to share what our hurts are, what our triumphs are, to give people hope and aspiration. Because again, for me, I feel that I actually don't agree with that statement that says, you can't be unless you can see it. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
People like to say. I don't like that statement, right?
You don't?
No, because I feel like a lot of us haven't seen it before. Yeah. What's to stop us from being
it? Still do it. That's a good point.
Absolutely. And so for me, I take on the mission then of that like you should see me and try to be what I'm doing, but surpass it.
Yeah.
You know, that I just happen to be on this rung or in the ether somewhere, but I'm not the goal. You know, and so when I'm interacting and I get those type of responses, I'm like, girl, you better go on. You know, I'm not the destination for sure. You know, and by the way, my life right now is not the destination for me.
Right.
So I'm moving too. Listen, we on a rocket ship.
Highway.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Okay, ain't nobody slowing down here.
Let's go this way.
Yeah, let's keep going. So I'm always inspired then when I get the testimonies or somebody stops me in an airport or, you know, says like, "Ooh, I saw you on Instagram. You did." You know, I love it so much because it makes me feel like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm inspired too. Let's go get them. Let's keep going.
Let's do this together.
Yeah, it feels really good.
But I do think there's like thousands of women out there who wear their pink outfits to the boardroom and their braids and all of those things because you said, girl, I did it. You know?
Yes, and I appreciate that too, right? Because we all need that kind of encouragement. Even just now with the two of you, like, you know, hyping each other up. Yes. I mean, how good does that feel though? So when you walk in to an environment and you, out of the corner of your eye, you hear somebody, girl, you just did that.
Okay.
You know, like you feel excited because you know that somebody appreciated whatever you got going on. And by the way, it's not always superficial. Sometimes it's in your thoughts or your actions. Yeah, I'm very inspired when I come out of a meeting and somebody's like, that idea, woo, man, that was one for the record books. Yeah. And maybe it didn't get approved or picked or whatever, but I'm still happy that you appreciated it. So I am also inspired when women see what I'm doing and give me a little bit of the, girl, you look good today. That outfit though.
That shoes.
Those earrings.
Earrings.
Yes.
I see you.
Where did you get those pants?
Yes. And speaking of, before we go, I see you, Office.
Yes.
Look, hello.
Can we take a moment?
Yeah.
Hello.
Why?
This is got Bozoma all over it.
Yeah. I'm living the truth, man.
It's badass, just
you know?
like you, and we love it.
Because we got the original lyrics, you know, to one of our most historic hip hop rap songs
of all
time. Because I want people to walk into this office and know exactly who they're dealing with.
And it's big as hell. Like it's like you will not miss
exactly.
it.
And by the way, there's a message in there, right? I said a hip hop. Okay, the hippity. The hippity to the hip.
Yes.
I said. Okay?
I love it.
Exactly. So you better come in here and speak my language.
Or else.
Yeah, don't come in here speaking anybody else's. This is my office.
And that's how we get it
done.
Thank
you for having us in your office.
Thank you so much.
I love you. I love you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank you.